here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, I'm here for something that I hope doesn't irritate too many people. Just understand I'm sharing my own personal opinion on this because people I know are either wondering or have already asked why I am not a fan of xylitol, why I do not use it. And I know a lot of people swear by it. They love to add it to their tooth powders. And some people use it as a sweetener for foods if they're trying to cut back on sugar or if they're diabetic. Now, I realize Xylon, which xylitol comes from, is a natural occurring substance. And even our own bodies can produce it, and it can be naturally occurring in various different foods that we eat in basically trace amounts. So that right there tells me that as far as ingesting it, the fact that it is naturally occurring in trace amounts means that it's cool for us to have a little bit, especially in its naturally occurring form, but we're only meant to have so much. And so by ingesting it, just using just a little bit of common sense there, is it possible we're overdoing it? Just like taking vitamin supplements. We know that D3 is good for us. Our B complex is good for us. But when we're taking supplement forms of these different things, and yes, I do sometimes take supplements when I feel my body really needs them. But when we're taking these supplements, we're taking it out of its natural form, even if it's the most natural form in that supplement. You know, maybe it was derived as naturally as possible. It's still outside of the natural way that we're supposed to take it. So I think caution should always be practiced no matter what it is you're consuming. There's the fact that the name xylitol, the OL at the end, is a good indicator. It is a sugar alcohol that is basically man-made. Now, it might be derived from a natural source, but it's still created in a lab. So that always kind of set wrong with me when I first started hearing about it. So if you look at artificial sweeteners that are sugar alcohols, there's only one, I don't remember the name of it, there's only one that doesn't end with an OL. And I have done a video in the past on what we call non-nutritive sweeteners, because not all of them are necessarily artificial, you know, because monk fruit and stevia, there's different types of natural sweeteners, but we're talking non-nutritive sweeteners because not all of them are artificial. And when you're looking at anything like this, and I discuss this in this video that I'll be linking to down below, and so I'm just going to try to say it quickly here, is that anytime you're feeding your body something that is sweet but is non-nutritive, that can cause your body to want to crave more real sugar than not. And so that can actually, you know, not only cause sugar craving, but then cause weight gain, and then whatever other health problems that's going to come with sugar consumption. So there's always that, no matter how natural and healthy any type of sweetener is. But in xylitol in particular is constantly right now being pushed and promoted. It's so good for your oral, dental care, etc., etc. And even some crazy claims about it being good for your gut health and this and that. But when you look deeper, you find that, in fact, I found some of the most balanced resources on this were your more natural based websites like Dr. Josh Axe or draxe.com. He has a pretty good article about xylitol that I'll link to down below where he covers the benefits, but also the possible negatives. And, you know, really the negatives have to do with ingesting, not using it in your oral care and ingesting it in high doses, which I think the only people that might be doing higher doses than what should be normal are those that are using it as a sugar replacement. But what was interesting, I thought, okay, I'm going to try to keep looking. Let me see what the .gov sites say, you know, PMC, NIH. That was interesting there too. And I was surprised when I went to this one article on there or publication, and it was going on about all the great things it can do for you using it as a sugar substitute. And I'm like, well, this doesn't even match up to what I was reading over here. And there was also other like .gov articles that were talking about the dangers of it possibly causing digestive issues, heart complications, weight gain, and blood sugar issues. And so I'm like, why do these not match up? Skimming through this one particular article on the NIH until I got down to the bottom, I usually look through the conclusions. Then I looked a little farther down. You've got to, when you're looking at these articles, I don't always remember to say this, look for the conflict of interest or the possible, contradictions. They will note that. And here is what I found, is that on the one that was just praising xylitol up and down and all its amazing, wonderful benefits, that was all put out by DuPont. So let's just think about this. DuPont is one of the biggest companies that's selling xylitol in crystal form to the public. Of course, they're going to praise it up and down. They've got a lot of money invested into this. So that definitely sat wrong with me. And then on the other aspect of it is just, I've always been very skeptical of it. Even before doing this research, I'm just like, the fact that it's called xylitol tells me it's probably not as natural as it sounds. But whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people claiming it's good for oral health if they want to add it to their tooth powder and so on. Great. Whatever. It's just not for me. But here's the other thing that, when I really get to thinking about any of this stuff, let's remember that saccharin was, this is going to be a great sugar replacement, until it was not. Until then, the detriment to the health started to show. Oh, now we've got this, now we've got aspartame, now we've got this one. In every single situation, this is natural, or this is really healthy because it's going to keep you from eating so much sugar. Back then, you couldn't, like for aspartame in particular. When I was very skeptical of that years ago, when I first got internet and I was trying to look into this, I could hardly find anything negative about aspartame. Now you type in aspartame, just put aspartame into your browser and you'll come across articles from all types of sites, medical sites, government sites, health sites saying don't consume aspartame, it's very bad for your health, it causes this, that, and the other thing. So what we see a pattern, is that anytime something becomes popular and pushed, and especially advertised as being so healthy for you, well, there's monetary gain behind it, almost always. But a lot of people will get on board because, good, I can still have my cake and eat it too, quite literally. And then it's years down the road that the long-term effects of these things start to show. I see xylitol, especially using it as a sweetener in foods, as being still a little too new. And while there's a lot of these studies going on, one of the .gov sites I came across that wasn't funded by DuPont was going on about how there's still just not enough information yet. And for me, I'm thinking, why take that risk when it's absolutely not necessary? As far as it, I know one of the claims is that, well, it helps rebuild the enamel on the teeth, but there's other things that do that too. It helps kill the bad bacteria in the mouth. Well, there's plenty of other things that do that too. And as some people know, I use a certain homemade precious metal liquid. I often brush my teeth with that, and that will do the same thing without me having to add the xylitol to my tooth powder. And so there's a lot of other ways that you can go about that. Now, again, I'm not trying to dog on anyone who's doing that. If you like that, it seems to be working for you, you're using that in your tooth powder, great. And I have nothing against that. I'm sharing why I don't do it. And I just found I don't really like any kind of sweetener in my tooth powder anyway. When I first started making it years ago, I was using stevia. And it wasn't even in its most natural form. So I got away from using that too. And so I don't use any of those. I just think, before we get on board the latest bandwagon on something, I think we need to kind of take our time, do a little research, kind of wait and see, as more information comes out, how healthy is this? And do I really need to purchase this substance, adding more cost to my tooth powder, especially if I'm on a limited budget? Wouldn't it just be a little more cost effective just to use just baking soda, as long as it doesn't burn my mouth too much, or some of the blends that I make myself? So I'll link back to my most recent tooth powder blend, which so far is my favorite, but I change it up all the time. Next year I'll probably create something different, but I'll link to that video down below. But sometimes even just eating the kind of diet we were meant to eat should mean, as long as our food isn't completely depleted of all its natural nutrients, we should be getting all the things that we need that will take care of our teeth from the inside out, that will take care of our body from the inside out, and feed it properly, that we shouldn't have to add some of this excess stuff in there if you're just doing it for the sake of, all the benefits. Okay, that's really not necessary. The tooth powder thing, I don't see a problem with, because you're spitting it out, or toothpaste if you're making a toothpaste. But as far as ingesting it, I just, in my personal, from what I've learned, my personal viewpoint is, I just think it should be avoided. It's just another sugar alcohol with a lot of trumped up claims that may or may not be true. And I don't think we really have enough solid evidence on that yet. So that's why I'm just not a fan of it, and why I will continue to avoid it, or any of the other sugar alcohols that are out there. So again, make your choice according to what you know is best for you. If you've already been using it, you've seen good results for your oral care, great. And just keep doing what works for you. I just sharing my opinion based on what I know, what I've learned, and what's best for me. So anyway, I just hope that gives you a little bit of food for thought. Any thoughts, ideas you'd like to share, even if you love xylitol, you use it, you find a lot of good benefits to it, it really has literally helped you, share that down below. Or if you are like me and you have a lot of reservations over such things like this, please feel free to share that as well. Remember, let's always be respectful and polite to each other as we share our own experiences and opinions. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.